Welcome back for this week's devotion. The title of this week's devotion is The World's Smallest but Largest Troublemaker. From James chapter 3, verses 1 through 12. My brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn their whole body. Look also at ships. Although they are so large and are driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder, wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body, and sets on fire the course of nature. And it is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature, of the sea, is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men, who have been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessings and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. Does a spring send forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Thus, no spring yields both salt water and fresh. We're living in probably one of the most vicious cultures ever, where people will say just about anything to anyone. People have been beat up by life, by words, by people, by news, by the things that are going on in our family, by our minds. We've heard the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But really, that's not true. Words can leave scars. Words can tear people apart. Words can make them feel insecure, inferior, not valuable. In his second inaugural address, Richard Nixon said, America has suffered from a fever of words. We cannot learn from one another until we stop shouting at one another, until we speak quietly enough that our words can be heard as well as our voices. Long before President Nixon voiced those words, James put it like this: So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. James 1:19. God takes the tongue and our words much more seriously than I think we take it. There's only one place, Proverbs 6:16 through 19, where God says He absolutely hates things. And 3 of the 7 are about the tongue. The tongue is a big deal to God. And there's a reason why, and James breaks it down. But first of all, Proverbs 6:16 through 19. These 6 things the Lord hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to Him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brethren. You see, words are powerful. How many children have heard their parents say, "You're worthless and will never amount to anything"? And the children believed their parents and allowed those words to shape their lives. How many other children have heard their parents say, "You're somebody. You are important as a person. You have important things to do in life." And the children believe their parents. What we say has tremendous power for good or bad. The average American has 30 conversations a day, and you'll spend a fifth of your life talking. In 1 year, your conversations will fill 66 books with 800 pages a book. Maybe for some even more. But you say something. You need to ask yourself, is this command going to be beneficial to someone else? Or comment going to be beneficial to someone else? Is it going to build them up, or is it going to put them down? Well, James is a master illustrator. In this passage on the tongue, he gives us some metaphors regarding our mouths. There are 6 of them. 6 pictures of the tongue. The bit, the rudder, fire, a poisonous animal, a fountain, and a fig tree. So let's begin by looking at the breakdown of James. He says, my words determine the direction of my life. Indeed, we put bits in horses, in verse 3, in horses' mouths, that they may obey us. And we turn their whole body. Look also at ships. Although they are so large and are driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder whenever the pilot desires. A disciplined tongue is evidence that a person is able to control their whole body. A little rudder keeps a ship on course. A tongue is like a rudder that steers us. We're the sum total of our relationships and the words that those people have said over our life. We tend to become what the most influential person in our life says we would become. When you received what they said about you, it set a course for your life. James uses the illustration about the horse and the bridle. It's amazing. You could take a 1,200-pound animal and put a 90-pound child on it, but with reins and a bit, a small child can control that great horse. The same is true of the rudder on a ship. No matter how big the ship, it is moved by the pilot at the direction of the rudder. He's saying here that our tongue controls the direction of our lives. Change the way you speak, what you say, and how you talk, and you can change the direction of your life. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Next thing we notice is that my words can destroy what I have. Our words can actually have destructive power. They can destroy everything we have. You never have to pick up a gun, a fist, or a bomb. James is trying to raise the awareness of what we have thrown around so loosely has power to destroy a career, a family, children. Begin with verse 5. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles? And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature. And it's set on fire by hell. A wildfire in California was caused by a spark from hammering a metal stake into the ground. The incident occurred in 2018 and sparked the ranch fire. The ranch fire burned over 410,000 acres in Colusa Glen, Lake, and Mendocino counties, destroying 280 structures and resulting in 1 firefighter death and 3 firefighter injuries. Think about it. That one little spark, not even one noticed, caught some dry material on the fire, and 500,000 acres were burned. Our less than a 1-second sparks that are just flying out of our mouth and we don't think much of have destructive power. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. Proverbs 26:20-21 says, where there is no wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no talebearer, strife ceases. And as charcoal is to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. Someone said, Make your words sweet, because someday you may have to eat them. And third, my words display who I am. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men and have been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. My words reveal what's down inside my heart. Someone once said, what's coming up out of the bucket was what was down in the well. If we have nasty, critical, condemning language coming out of our mouth, putting people down, always cutting somebody down, there could be something going on inside of our hearts. And James says, you have a war going on. The war is in our heart. Verse 11 and 12 say, does a spring send forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Thus no spring yields both salt water and fresh. Springs in the Bible were always used to describe what was going on inside of you. Springs were always a metaphor of the heart in Scripture. My brothers and sisters, can a fig tree bear olives and a grapevine bear figs? He says it again, neither can a salt spring produce fresh water. The real problem isn't my tongue. It's my heart. We have to ask God to take a look inside of our hearts. We need to allow God to change the heart. Matthew 12:34 says, for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The problem isn't with the heart. The person with a harsh tongue has an angry heart. Or it is with the heart. The problem with a negative tongue has an anxious heart. The person with an overactive tongue has an unsettled heart. And the person with a filthy tongue has an impure heart. A person with a critical, censorious tongue has a bitter heart. So you see, the problem is really the heart. A person with compassionate words has a loving heart. A person with an encouraging tongue has a happy heart. And a person with a truthful tongue has an honest heart. Our words come from our hearts. And the only way to tame the tongue is, first of all, to get a new heart. Matthew 12:34-35 says, for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasures of his heart brings forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth evil things. We need to ask God for help every day. Psalms 141 and verse 3 says, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Think before you speak. James 1 and 19 says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. 12 words that will transform your life. Please, thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm praying for you. So remember, my words determine the direction of my life. My words can destroy what I have, and my words display who I am. May the Lord bless you this week as you continue to watch over your tongue.